The village of Litchk, located 300 kilometers from the capital Yerevan, is located in the Marz of Syunik. The Pan-Armenian Environmental Front provided this village with 42 beehives in order to create a viable alternative for economic development. The reason for choosing Litchk, which only has about 30 permanent residents, was not by chance. In fact, the community's proximity to copper mines dictated the decision.
The reason we were actually in Litchk recently was because of one young lady who lives in New York currently. When our activists from Pan-Armenian Environmental Front were visiting New York, she actually saw our film Armenia's Breaking Backbone, and she's one of those Armenians who took the cause really seriously and wanted to have a contribution.
That young Armenian American is Leah Surenian of New York. She is assisting and supporting the Pan-Armenian Environmental Front realize this program in Litchk.
She's majoring in environmental studies. So she applied for a project known as Davis Project for Peace, and in the entire United States, her project was chosen. And in her project, she mentioned, and she actually, we advised her on what were some of the priorities in Armenia currently and what would be a possibility for her project. And we ended up deciding on apiculture, specifically in Litchk, just to prevent another mine being opened in Armenia.
Aside from the actual beehives, villagers were provided with all the necessary equipment to maintain them.
Because the project gave us about $10,000 to use to actually distribute it among the families, we were able to purchase about 42 beehives for 7 families. So each families were able to get about six beehives. Along with all the necessary items that they need, whether it's clothing, appropriate equipment, as well as medication to make sure the bees don't get any diseases.
While the economic component of this initiative is clear, the environmentalists explain that it is through projects like these that a sense of community, communal responsibility, and cohesion can be developed, nurtured, and sustained.
The project actually was also a way to develop this culture in Armenia where people start thinking about not just helping their own families, which is very common in Armenia today, where if something happens to my family, I only worry about my family. So we want to develop and spread that culture in Armenia where we do start thinking about how can I just be helpful, not just to my own family, but to my entire community, to my neighbor around me, to the villager who lives next to me. And we decided to create a fund within the community, and it will be managed by the community members. One of the Pan-Armenian Environmental Front coordinators will also be part of that. Fund, just to follow the process and make sure everything's done correctly. And they will be able to donate each of the families that receive beehives about 10% of the total honey that they are able to get from their 6 beehives, and that money will go towards their fund, and as a community they'll decide how are we going to spend that money.
Projects with value-added potential whose core mission is to support villages and villagers along the borders or in the regions are not always welcomed by state officials.
One of the very important things that I was really shocked, but at the same time should have expected, I guess, being in Armenia, where I never imagined going into a community outside of Armenia, let's say, and having the mayor of that city tell us that I could possibly prevent you guys from implementing this project. To me, that was really a shock, where you're coming here doing the job that he's supposed to do, and on top of it, you are putting all of your effort, everything that you've got, volunteering your time. We spend days there trying to, walking up all these mountains, trying to find all the villages, and yet you come across this barrier where they're telling you, I could really stop this. To me, that actually gave me more, that encouraged me more, and helped me decide that this is something we have to continue.
The representatives of the Pan-Armenian Environmental Protection Front intend to implement similar programs in mining villages that have not been contaminated by mining pollutants. The environmentalists say that a beekeeping industry as an alternative to mining will be one of their priorities.